here, and all the best going forward. Again here now, I think we've everybody in. So my name is Niall Duffy, everybody. I'm the manager here of the dairy programs in Dovea Genetics. I'd like to thank you for joining us tonight on the Montbeliarde webinar. Tonight I'm joined by some guests, some special guests tonight here. We're going to begin with Ferreol Roche, who is the export manager from Coopex in France. This is going to be followed then by Michael Guinan and his son Kevin, who have recently began milking through a robotic system using pedigree Montbeliardes. After this, Kenny Roberts, who's the chairman of the Montbeliarde Society and also milking 120 pedigree Montbeliarde cows with an integrated beef system, is going to join us and talk about his system, his low input grass-based system. And then finally, we're going to be joined by Kyle Hanbidge, who is milking mostly Montbeliarde and some crossbred cows as well. So we've got a jam-packed night. So each speaker is probably going to be for roughly 10 minutes. So Ferreol is going to take it away with his presentation, and then followed by the farmers, and then we're going to finish off with a presentation of the bulls. So this meeting will also be recorded tonight, so it'll be available for people later on to watch again. So thanks very much, and Ferreol, whenever you're ready, you can take it away. Are you able to share? Can you share your screen there then?
Yeah, I will share my screen. That would be good. Does everybody see the screen? Everything is okay?
Looks good from this side.
Yeah.
And just before you begin, Ferreol, if anyone has any questions, maybe text them in. The number will be in the chat here, and you can just text your questions directly to that number, and I'll ask them then to Ferreol then at the end, and the same for the farmers. We'll have time after the farmers to ask the questions, you know. So thanks.
So first of all, thanks very much for giving me the opportunity for doing this quick presentation about the Montbéliarde breed. So I'm Ferreol Roche. I'm working for Coopex Montbéliarde now for 11 years, okay, in charge of different markets among Ireland and UK market as well. And tonight I'm going to do a quick presentation about Coopex Montbéliarde, the companies, and also the breeding program that we are leading at the moment. And then at the end of the presentation, I will do a quick introduction about the new bulls and the current bulls available in Ireland with Dovea Genetics. So just a quick summary is about, say, the group. The group is called Humates Coopex, okay? That's a union of 14 AI cooperative all over in France. It's been created in 1968. In total, that's representing, say, 15,000 Montbéliarde breeders, okay? And we are the leaders in the Montbéliarde breed genetics, okay? We're representing at the moment 87% of the AI market in France. And last year, we have done over 473,000 Montbéliarde insemination, okay? Then the daughter company is called Coopex Montbéliarde, who is in charge of exporting the genetics abroad, okay? We are exporting only the Montbéliarde breed through semen, livestock, and embryos. At the export market, we are representing 90% of the Montbéliarde genetics. Some key figures about, say, our breeding program. So in total, we got, say, 640,000 milking cows under the milk recording system, okay? It's representing, say, 15,200 farms all over in France, okay? And in our breeding program, we got over 3,190 Montbéliarde breeders who are involved in the breeding program. In total, say, the Montbéliarde breed is the #1 breed in France among all the dairy breeds who are doing a lot of genomic tests on heifers and also on the bulls. It really helped to find as soon as possible the next generation of animals who will be the new leaders to create the next generation of leading animals for the breed, okay? So in total, in our breeding program, we got, say, 4,000 female will be classified as bull dam, okay? And we also done on the second side our own embryo station where we are hosting 135 heifers donors every year, okay, who will be producing over 3,200 embryos, okay, that then will be dispatched in all the different Montbéliarde partners that we have all over in France. So this means some farmers will be borrowing their heifers and put them in the embryo station. Humates will produce a lot of embryos from these heifers, and these embryos will be replaced in some recipients all over in France. This is really the cooperative-based system about creating the genetics and then sharing all over the place. In total, we got, say, 2,500 mating plants were done. And among all these, say, genomics tests done and all the mating plants, at the end, we will be buying only 150 bull calves, okay, among the 2,500 matings we'll be finishing, okay. So this is really a very high pressure of selection, just really to using the very, very best of the Montbéliarde breed to be used in France, but also abroad, okay. Then this bull calf will have to go through different tests, like the feed efficiency test, to look, because we are really looking for the most efficient animals for growth and also in terms of beef abilities and beef conformation. Then we'll have also another step will be up to the genomic values of the animals, about also the cow family and the quality of the pedigree. And then the last step will be about the semen quality and the ability to produce good quality semen, who has to be available to be produced for sexed semen. So to up to this different step, at the end, among the 150 bulls that bull calf that will be bought every year, we'll be releasing 30 new bulls every year. So the pressure of selection is very, very intense in our breeding program, really to find the best new generation for the future. Just some key figures for about Coopex Montbéliarde. Coopex Montbéliarde are exporting 775,000 Montbéliarde doses every year. Okay, last year that's what we have been doing in 65 countries all over the world on the 5th continent. And then in terms of livestock sales, we've been exporting 10,200 Montbéliarde in-calf heifers last year, plus around, say, 9,000 plus other animals like bull calf, bull for fattening, beef, and Holstein as well. So this is the kind of example of things that we have been doing. Down here, you got an example of when we also exporting animal by aircraft. Okay, this was one of the operations that have been done a week ago in Cameroon, for example. So the Montbéliarde have been very well recognized in France, because this is a secondary breed in France. Okay, we say 422,000 milking cows recorded, because she got a lot of abilities in terms of milk production, about cheese production as well. She's very strong for the health threat. She's suitable to a lot of different kind of system. And then you also have a lot of additional strong point, like she's able to produce a good quality animals, so the beef value is very important, and she's also very good for strength and getting powerful animals. Just to give you some ideas, in France, we are using 30% of the Montbéliarde insemination are done with sexed semen. I know this is not as high as it could look in some other breed, like say the Frisian or the black and white, but do you still have a good bull calf value? So some farmers don't really need to use that much extra sexed semen for their replacement, because if they have a bull calf, it's still making a lot of money and still worthing something. So as I said earlier, Montbéliarde is the secondary breed in France. Okay, it been found in a lot of different type of farming system, from the very high intensive system, housing all year long with a robotic milking system, to a very easy and low cost input management. Okay, from organic to classic to conventional farming system. The Montbéliarde with the 400 among the 422,000 milking cows recorded, 50% of these cows are in grazing system. So that means we say extensive system, low inputs, and then the other 50% will be in a high intensive system. Meanwhile, at the moment, the average production per cow for the Montbéliarde purebred is 8,500 kg of milk, okay, at 3.5 protein and 3.95 in fat percentage as well. Most of our cows will be BB kappa casein and A2A2 beta casein, which make also why the Montbéliarde is the #1 used breed and selected by the cheesemaker to produce cheese in France. And then in terms of functional trait and fitness, if we do a quick comparison between the two strongest breed, the two most popular breed in France, the Montbéliarde, at the moment, we got say around say 20% of the Montbéliarde cows who are in fifth lactation and more, where for the Holstein it's only 10%. And then in terms also of fertility and longevity and reproduction, the Montbéliarde is a big step higher than the black and white, like the Holstein or the Frisian, because with the Montbéliarde, you will be using only 1.7 stroke per pregnancy in France, whereas for the Holstein or the Frisian, you will be using 2.4 stroke per pregnancy. So this is a big difference in terms of say of fertility, of cyclicity as well, and also in longevity, that make why the Montbéliarde is more popular abroad. It's been also very well more popular abroad because a lot of scientific studies have been done and shown that the Montbéliarde was the best breed to use for crossbreeding. Okay, there's a lot of studies done in America, done also in Europe, and also done also in Africa to show that whatever the milking system and the farm system, the Montbéliarde does perform very well because it permits to bring more milk, more solid percentage as well, and more solid cages. A better strength, a better, stronger animal, so make also a better quality bull calf, so another income for the farmers as well. And then in terms of health, the Montbéliarde also much better because they have higher conception rate, better fertility, lower somatic cells count, and also lower problem with health threat. So this is also why they cut the vet bill, and the survival and the longevity of the Montbéliarde crosses are much higher compared to the black and white cows. So at the end, they make a higher income and the lower expenses. This is why the Montbéliarde could be qualified as the best profitable cow when you use this breed for crossbreeding. This is a quick overview about how the Montbéliarde is performing very well in lots of different systems. In the high intensive system, say like we could be looking some big farm in the USA, until say some very high tropical area like in Brazil or in Colombia, but also to some mountainous places like in Austria or Switzerland, and also in the very good grazing area like in the UK, in Ireland, or in Chile. Just to finish, just some news regarding the Montbéliarde breed selection. Okay, until say 2012, we were working with say a previous ISU. The ISU is the French EBI. Okay, that's the Economic Synthesis Index. Okay, the fact is that say in 2022 we decided to change it a bit to have a better quality animals, more in adequation, which was really the dairy industry and the farmer are looking for at the moment. So that means we have been rebalancing a lot the fat and protein percentage in the milk category in order to be with higher fat production compared to what it was in the past. Okay, because also dairy industry is more chasing the fat percentage and the fat cages now. We also have been putting more weight on the longevity, on the udder health, because this is really where economically, this is where you can be gaining really more money, especially in the organic farming system. Then also we'll be looking to continue to affirm the body capacity and the big value of the breed to get these more robust cows and more hardiness animals, because also when you have an animal who got a more chest width and a better quality in conformation as well, this will be making more money each time she will have a calf, okay? And each time also at the end of the carry, when the animals will be gone for the factory, she will be a better quality carcass animal, so it will make more money. So the beef value always have been something important, but we put more weight on keeping these animals more medium size, very suitable for grazing, and then put a better, more weight enough on the chest width to have more resilient animal. And then try to be more and more adaptable to the system as well. We try to find also the most efficient cows and easy animal to manage. So this is why we also have been integrate in our selection the temperament straight away to get rid of this say bad image who have been just blaming the breed, because some people may have had a bad experience in the past about a bull who was say not good at all in temperament. So it has been transmitted these bad genes to the progenies, and then that was people have been blaming the breed about not having a good, blaming the Montbéliarde breed not having a good temperament. So we've been including this in our new ISU. Then to finish, we have done also some new studies also to develop and to be more in adequation with what the farmers are looking at the moment. So we're looking for a new proof who is called DIY, who is in correlation with feed efficiency. This is a proof who is from a 4-year studies, okay, who was just to evaluate how an animal is able to convert and to digest as much as possible the quality of the fiber from forages into milk, okay. And it showed in these studies that between the best cows and the lowest cows, okay, there is around, say, 450 kgs of milk produced more compared to per cow per year in the same feeding system, in the same management system. The fertility also will be improved because the best cows in feed efficiency will have a shorter calving interval by 5 days. And there will be also cows who will be losing less body condition in the early lactation. So this is also the cyclicity and the fertility in the early days of lactation will be much, much higher. So to read it, this is very simple. It's based on a 0 average, okay? +1 is a standard deviation. And when you get above a 0, it means there will be improver and better animal for feed efficiency and for digest easier the fiber from your grass, forages, dry forages, silage into milk. And these studies have shown very well that there is no correlation between the size of the cow and the ability to digest and to be more feed efficient. So this is also a good way also to showing and to prove scientifically. It doesn't mean because a cow is bigger that should be costing more money or compared to a smaller cows, because the quality of the metabolism of a cow is have no correlation and no relation with the size of the animals. That's good for the moment. So if you want to take the following part of the presentation, Niall, that's absolutely fine for me.
Thanks, Ferreol. So thanks for that, very informative, nice update on the breed. So Michael and Kevin's going to join us. Going to go next. That's okay. So we'll get their presentation up on our screen. So,
all right. Good evening, everyone. Thanks, Dovea, for having us. I've been breeding Montbeliarde since 1990, I suppose, just to give a bit of background to it. And Kevin here is partner for us now on the farm, and he wishes to still continue Montbeliarde, which shows the faith we have in the breed. Like, and there's no change in breeding program, a change of management coming. So, like, as far as I'm concerned, that shows that my choice in 1990 was solid, and I'm happy with it, and he's happy with it. As you said there, I'm farming 40 years and it's time to hand over. But like last December 12 month, we changed to robotic milking, and I have to say that the herd took to the robots very easily. In 2-3 days, we put 40 cows on the 13th of December, and in 2 or 3 days, we were going through the robots on their own. So like you hear a lot of complaints about Montbéliarde being troublesome and maybe nervous and all the rest. We found that they took the system. There was no problem with them. We have a very docile herd, as Ferreol and Niall can vouch for there from moving through the shed. So temperament would be an extremely high factor with the herd as far as we're concerned anyhow. We'd be happy enough that the breeding advice we've been getting from Coopex over the last 25 years, from John Paul and from Ferreol there over the last 10 years, has definitely steered us in the right direction. And I think it's a very valuable tool to have at your disposal, to be able to have stock, the breeding done by experts that come and assess the stock and match the sire to the animal. I'm not knocking the sire advice by ICBF, but like I just think you can't beat looking at the animal and matching the bull to the animal on the ground. So from that point of view, we bred a herd that we're very happy with anyhow. We have a fragmented farm, so beef will always be part of the enterprise here, and as a result, we've always reared all our calves to beef. I suppose we're a bit lazy in one sense. I run an Angus bull with the maiden heifers in the springtime of the year because they're on a platform that's away from main farm, so it's just easier to run an Angus bull there. The rest of the breeding is all AI bred. We have cows there maybe 25 years AI breeding or 30 years AI breeding in them, and trace it back that far, we have all the records there. So like it's a well-established herd. When we started at first, people said we're mad to be going to breed red and whites. We've proven that we weren't altogether crazy. The cows are milking very well for us. Some of the figures up on the screen there, 512 kilos of milk solids of 1.5 tons, maybe 1.6, 1 or 2 years there where we were hit with a bit of a drought. But like, I think it's quite a respectable figure. At the end of the day, we have a good beef calf from them as well, which is also a plus. All the Montbéliarde bulls and Angus bulls are all fattened. We aim to kill the bulls at about 18, 20, maybe 21 months of age, because we're stocked fairly heavily on the farm, so we have to watch nitrates. So we went away from a steer system to a bull system, be able to finish the animals younger and move them off the farm that bit faster. Because we tried going to the marts with store bullocks, and the mart trade meets them as dairy stock. So we found that by finishing them as bulls, we were able to achieve a better return from our stock that way. The maiden heifers, as I said, are bred to Angus, and the Angus cross animals do very well from the Montbéliarde cross. This year, our bulls, when we slaughtered them there, we slaughtered them in December, in the November, December, and the average weight of Montbéliarde bulls was 370 kilos. The top weight of the bulls, some of them hit 450, 430, 440 kilos. So like, they were good weights. 40% of them, or just over 40% of them, graded our grade, and the rest of them were all O grades, and the vast majority of that O grade was O equals or O plus. Pat scores were all fairly decent. Probably could have kept them a little longer, but given the fact that we were watching nitrates, we maybe went a few days earlier than we should have. But the fat scores were still coming in at 3 plus and 4, so like, wasn't that much more that we could have done with them. The Angus bulls averaged 355 kilos with a top weight of 385 kilos, and the majority of those were R grade cattle, and they were bred, as I said, from a stock bull on the farm. The O grade animals were all O plus grades, so quite respectable as well. And given that all those Angus, as I kept saying, are bred from the heifers, you wouldn't be expecting as big an animal coming off a heifer anyhow, so like, we're quite happy in that sense. As I said, the breeding, Ferreol has done it there for the last 10 years, and I think he's quite pleased with what he's seen on the ground. So like, I would be encouraging people, if they're considering breeding the Montbéliarde, to join our society, because we have, even if it's a small society, we have a good society there, and it has a good backup for the breeders, good advice, and we have access to the best advice coming from France there. A couple of times a year he calls around, and he's always welcome on the farm. Kevin, what would you like to add?
Not a lot now, but pretty much just that the dual purpose Montbéliarde cow is working in the system, and that you're able to produce milk and kilos of milk solids, as well as have calf value and cull cow value. So I fairly well think they tick a lot of boxes, and I can't see a lot of reason to move away from them, given that you have multiple options with the stock, and you still have a cow that is well capable of producing a respectable milk yield, and they've took very well to the robots. So I genuinely would encourage other people that they're not just a beef animal. Some people kind of think they are, but they are capable of being a good dairy breed, as well as giving other traits. So I genuinely don't see any reason to move. I don't think we'll be moving anytime soon. So I really just think that fairly well sums it up now, to be honest.
Maybe Kevin, you could go over the robotic system then as well, on how they're working on the robotic system and how they adapted to it.
Well, they adapted well. The robotic system is an ABC grazing system with zero grazing implemented as well, due to the size of the farm or the size of the grazing block. Don't want much more. We're divided by a canal, so we haven't access to only 20 hectares of ground or just 52 or 3 acres of grazing. So we're pretty tight on grazing. There will always be zero grazing, but at the minute, they took to it very well now. And I suppose they like the robots and that. So can't, without going into huge detail, I don't know what else really to say.
Yeah.
We, out of the herd that we put on the robots, as I said last spring, we put 112 cows on it. There was only one cow out of 112, and she didn't even fail to milk. For some reason, her udder was maybe a little misshapen, and there was just one quarter that wouldn't attach. But out of 112 cows, I think that there was only one that didn't suit the robotic system. I think speaks volumes for the breed and for the breeding that has gone into making sure that the udder is correct and right. So like fertility is pretty decent as well. We get fairly good conception rates there. We do our own AI here on the farm, and the conception rates are pretty decent. We're getting up around 60-70% to first service, which I think is good enough, given that you only do AI maybe for 2 or 3 months of the year, and then you forget about it for the other 9 months. So like, given the fact that we're able to achieve those kind of results, it says a lot for the fertility of the breed and the semen that's coming through. So like, quality wise, we're very happy with the breed.
That's great. Ferreol, you see a lot of cows throughout the year. Maybe you could give a quick description of your opinions of Michael and Kevin's herd.
What I really like is that when you go on a farm and like this, like Michael said, is that they have been moving from a traditional, say, milking system to a robotic milking system. And when we go through these cows, okay, we could be walking like this, say, with 3-4 different persons, and the cows are not walking away from us. I mean, all the cows have been very, very quiet. The cows have been, say, also very, very suitable already in advance to the milking system, because we never have been looking for such massive cows in stature. They already have been very medium sized and good grazing animals, because they already have been in the grazing system. But the fact is that also what have been also a big advantage with the Montbéliarde is that we don't have that much problem with the quality of the udders. Compared to what people could be expecting. The Montbéliarde is a dairy breed, okay? So that means we have been looking and selecting for dairy qualities in terms of quality in the udders. They have good udder attachment in the fore and also in the rear attach, good udder cleft, and good teeth placement. We don't have this issue that you will find with the black and white with cross teeth in the back rear or teeth placement who are too close. With the Montbéliarde, we don't have such issues. And the last point also is that we don't have too extreme the balance, which is also a big advantage for a robotic milking system. And at the end, these animals who have been, say, have been going to Michael and Kevin for a long, long time, we are being able to see some animals who have been reaching, say, 10, 11 lactation without too much issues. And the fact is that some of them will be moving and leaving the farm is just because there was some money and there is plenty of heifers coming on the ground. So the newest generation is chasing them just because they've been doing a fantastic job. But when they'll be leaving the farm, they could continue to go to another place and continue to do another 1 or 2 lactation without any problem. I mean, it's not, say, voluntary culling because of some issues. They've been doing a fantastic job on it.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you. Thanks, Ferreol. And
I'll just come in there. Yes, I suppose that is something that we neglect to say there, because we just take it for granted. We have cows there doing 9, 10 lactations, and like, we wouldn't be culling them. It'd be more age, because we have so much young stock coming on that we'd be culling them rather than problems, kind of. That tended to be maybe the biggest problem. You tended to keep a cow too long because she was going so well. And like, maybe it's just on this farm that, but we tend to have a lot of twins from the Montbéliarde as well. Like, we could have maybe 8-10% twins in the herd, like, in the year. And still the cows are going back and calving within 365 or 370 days, even after having twins. Like, so like fertility is very high.
Yeah, great figures there now. So no, thanks for that. That's great. So we'll move on to Kenny. So Kenny is the chairman of the society here, and has a low input grazing system. So can you hear us, Kenny? Hopefully now, maybe. So again, any questions, folks, keep them coming. There's some nice ones coming in.
Can you hear me now?
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can hear you now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So will I go ahead there, Niall?
Go ahead, Kenny.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I have the unbelievable position of being the chairman of the Montbeliarde Society, and we had our AGM there yesterday, and it was actually a very good meeting. So, if anyone here would like to join you, you're always welcome. And we don't look. I suppose with COVID, we haven't done a whole lot in the last few years, but we're hoping this year to have an open day and also a trip to France in maybe September, October time. Over to go around a few farms in France, and I've been in one before now, and it's well worth going on. So that's that bit out of the way. Yeah, I'm kind of similar to Michael there, as in our farm is fragmented as well, and I've been milking about 130 cows next year. They're not all pedigree, but the majority of them would be. I would have got into them in about 2002, I think. We were looking for I kind of taken over the farm myself, and from my dad, and he hadn't really done much breeding, so I knew there was going to be beef in the system, so we looked at a few different breeds, and I bought three Montbéliardes, I think was the my first little step into them, and I was very happy with them, so I kind of imported a few then from France, and kind of just went from there really. And I just found them over the years to just be very good milkers, good temperament. I know there's people out there who think they're a bit mad. They can be a little bit stubborn at times, but never have to put a kicking bar in any of them. And the beef of them, the beef is the beef is very good as well. I'll probably touch on that a little bit later there. So the milk solids I'd be feeding about 700. Somewhat depends on as we've been caught with drought there the last couple of years, but the milk solids there was down a little bit last year. It has been up to 470, 480, but we were at 460 there, at 402 fat, 356 protein. And yeah, probably a low cost system. Yeah, I would as low as we can go. Yeah. So the calving interval there, as Michael touched on earlier there, the fertility of them is excellent. So I had the 6-week calving rate there in the spring at 82%, and the calving interval of 365, and all heifers would be calved within 22 to 24 months. Now I did used to use AI in my heifers, but I just have enough heifers with the cows that I have, so I have a stockpile running with them as well. And I think they're all due this year in the first 6 weeks. So first 6 weeks of calving. So I'd be happy with that. Yes, in and around there, 6% voluntary culling, and it's in and around 6 voluntaries and 6 involuntaries, where we'd be somewhere 6, 7 involuntaries. So that's where we are. I've enough heifers coming through the system to replace the cows that I don't want. Down the line, going forward, well, I get the breeding advice from Ferreol there, and year on year you can see the improvements, so I'm very happy with that. Probably going to try and increase with banding and everything coming through now. I'm right on the borderline of going into to the top one, so I'm probably going to aim more towards solids rather than liters, I think. The average lactation number is about 4.1 or 2, I think, which is above the national average, but it can always be improved. The health of the cows, I'm very happy with the health of the cows. They're quite a robust animal. Don't tend to get, I always get an odd couple of sick ones, but I think I only had to call the vet twice last year. As I said, they're robust, and yeah, I'm just looking for a good, like we would keep so we'd keep probably 100 out of 130 we'd keep 100 calves, and I'd probably sell about 30 every year, and you've no problem getting customers for those. I would use I've Red Angus bulls there, and I'd sell some heifers and some of the bulls as well. And I would use Belgian Blue, Limousin, Aubrac. No problem selling any of those calves. So then I would fasten. I don't go down the bull beef route. We finish all ours as steers. And the heifers, we would be finishing Angus heifers, and they normally go around 20. They go around at 22 months old, at about 320 kilos, and their average grade in the factory for those was R-. And then the Montbéliarde steers were finished at 24 months at about 360 kilos average, and the average grade of those was actually O+. I suppose to summarize it then, I'm just happy with the strength of the animal and the valuable calf, the saleable calf even, which could be important down the line, and the improved health really. So obviously, I'm happy with the milk yield and the solid. Probably have to improve the solids a bit, but look, I'm just getting the best of both worlds really by using Montbéliardes. So that's it.
Great job, Kenny. There's a couple of questions, but we'll save them till after Kyle, if that's okay for you.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, grand job. Thanks very much for that. Now, so Kyle is here now as well to join us. So we have a great lineup. Thanks, Kyle. Are you with us, Kyle?
Just hold on.
Yeah.
To figure this out. Now, can you hear me all right?
Perfect.
Great. Yeah, thanks, Niall, for having me, and Dovea and the Montbeliarde Society as well. We run a farm here in Wicklow, in Kiltegan, the County Wicklow. I'm farming in a partnership with my father and my mother as well. Myself and my father, though, we first bought our bull off Alan Hanbidge, our cousin, in 2002, and we started breeding, crossbreeding on a British Friesian Holstein herd. I was in school at the time, did college, went off to Australia, so we're 8 years home from Australia now. And when I came home, we'd only 50 cows, plus the followers. We'd sucklers as well, and a bit of beef. So quotas went, land become available, so we decided we'd up the numbers. So in the last few years, it's just been pure expansion mode. So we've reached 170 cows, 50 autumn, predominantly Montbéliarde in the autumn, and then 120 spring. We're very fond of the Montbéliarde breeding, and like ever since we started in 2002 crossbreeding, we never looked back. But when we went to try expand, when I came home, it was very hard to get Montbéliardes, so we had to go to the black and white route. As you can see, the figures there, 6,500 litres, 485 solids. That's on a relatively young herd because we've been continuously expanding over the last few years. Our fat and protein are good. Always, you can always improve, as they say. It was sort of easy to expand though, keeping the herd that we had, because the Montbéliardes were outlasting the black and whites. When I came home first, I purchased a batch of Monty heifers and Frisian heifers, and the Monties are still in the herd where the Frisians are gone. We do 6 weeks AI breeding. So the best of the cows are getting AI now to the bulls. Ferreol comes up and picks the bulls as well. The Monty cows get the Monty bulls, black and white, stay black and white. Sometimes you mix and match the red and white on top of the black and white. Something I've tried the last couple of years is some of the absolute big cows. I'm trying to get a more compact cow. I've gone to this Norwegian red, the 3-way cross, so the Pro Cross, and I find that very good. Like I have a couple of heifers like that, and they're very good. Look, there's very good health traits with them, and they're good grazers, and they're good to get solids, milk and solids in the tank, which is very important. The low productive cows now that we're picking and choosing, in the first 6 weeks, they'll all get AI'd with Belgian Blue or Limousine, and then the last 6 weeks we map up the Aubrax. Kenny and both Michael and Kevin spoke about cull cows and beef stock and all that. We killed cows here recently, and they were straight out of parlour, and they made between 12 and 1,500. So we didn't lose time fattening them, and silage and meal and everything else. So yeah, look, they're very good cull cows, and there's a market there to get rid of them, or if you want to fatten them, you can too. It all depends what you have. Bull calves, we are very fortunate. Haven't had to go to the market the last few years. There's customers coming the whole time. Like there's calves are nearly forward sold. They're not completely forward sold, but they're as good as forward sold. They've got 2 buyers that'll take anything, particularly the Monty bulls, and then the Aubrac cross Monty bulls or heifers, and then you're suckler men looking for the heifers, Aubracs, Montbéliarde. And the carcass weights that Michael and Kevin spoke about, they're the same. Lads are killing bulls that I'm selling under 24 months, and they're getting them into 380 to 400 carcass weights, O pluses and R's. Sustainability, yeah. This is going to be a huge thing in the future. So Philip and I are both very keen to stick with the Monties, because like at the minute, the calf market's good at the minute, but like in the future years, there mightn't be any exports. So that's going to affect different breeds, whereas we feel like the Montbéliarde, you have a market there, and there's going to be a big demand for calves. So the future does look bright with them, and we're keen to stay with the red and whites, so that be us. And at the minute, we've hit our numbers, so now we get to pick and choose. We're going to choose and pick from the best breeding cows, put the best bulls on them, get a more compact cow, low maintenance cow, and the sort of cow that you don't see in the herd, that she just keeps working away, keeps tipping away, and leaves you with money at the end of the day, which you want. And the thing we like about the Montbéliarde the most is like a couple of things, like longevity, fertility, temperament. They're all good. The hybrid vigor, especially with the Norwegian red, the Pro Cross, and some of the big girls, which is working out well for us at the minute. You have a great calf market, and you have a good cull cow market, which is great, either the market or the factory. And health and strength. We've used the bulls over the last few years. Like I said, when we started first, it was all stock bulls, whereas now we're going AI in. We still have a couple of stock bulls running with heifers, like Kenny's thing. They're in and out farm, and it's just, I'd rather concentrate on the cows, get them back in calf, get a good cows in calf with good AI bulls. So I've used the Horn a few years ago, and Brink and Ellistar, Elan, Harper, NYX, the list goes on. So, and there's a great selection of bulls there. So we're looking to breed more into the solids because, like Kenny, we're right on the border with the banding. So that's all I think, Niall, if that's all right.
Yeah, thanks very much for that, Kyle. That's brilliant now. So a couple of questions here, and then Ferreol might run through the bulls in the 2023 coloured catalogue. So I suppose I'd like to also invite Dan Summers here. Some people might have already seen the video that we made over the summer with Daniel and his dad Danny. So Dan, are you there? You're with us? Thanks for having us. Thanks for joining us this evening, should I say, and allowing us on the farm over the summer. So just a quick maybe a review of that. Dan, where do you see the breed growing in popularity over the next few years, in your opinion?
Yeah, well, like I do. I think one of the limiting factors probably with the herd is the ICBF, is the EBI. They're not really getting a fair representation. And it does affect people who, anyone that's ever asked me about getting into them is always worried about the EBI, because Teagasc have been pushing EBI and the Monty really doesn't get a fair shake when it comes to it. Like, it probably needs to be addressed going forward, like, because the EBI isn't giving a fair reflection for what my cows or any of these cows in the lads that spoke of are. Like, they're doing the solids, they're doing the liters, they've great beef as well. And like the fleck fees are getting an awful lot higher scores for less figures. Like, so I think that's one of the main issues probably affecting the Montbéliarde herd. Like, growing in the country. Yeah.
And even with that in mind, do you still think there's an increased demand there going forward for that?
Yeah, I think there is. There does be people often asking about like the availability of heifers. Probably we would have sold heifers over the years, and the same people keep coming back for. But like, we found that when we started, we went from 90 cows probably when I came home in 2011 to 240. So we've been building and building and building, and we just didn't have the heifers to sell. We were pushed. We didn't, with nitrates, everything. So there's always people looking for heifers. It's just nitrates. I can't afford to keep any more heifers than I need for myself.
That's great. Thanks for that. Dan, you're like in the same situation as Kyle. You've moved away from the beef, finishing just to concentrate more on the milk with the land situation around the para. So you're selling your calves. Tell us, is the market always strong for your type of calves?
Yeah, I used a lot of limousines in the last 2 years. I've gone more towards the blue because it's shorter gestation. The blues are calving a bit quicker, and I'm generally getting from 300 to 350 for the blue calves out of the Monties. Similar for the limousine, and a bit less. I was using an Albrecht bull, and the heifers be smaller calves. I was getting a bit less for them. But the same customers are coming back every year. As Kyle said, ours are pretty much forward sold most years. And we've one guy comes for all the Monty bulls, and he loves them. Like, so we have no issue selling the calves. Like, there's no point. Like, a guy will come into the yard and he'll say, "Oh, I can buy them in the mart," and I'd say it's a red limousine heifer or bull there, and I just say, go buy them in the mart because you won't get them anywhere else. Like, they're out good quality cows. They're a different animal than out of most dairy stock, and like the guys keep coming back, so it's not an issue.
Perfect. Kenny, a question for you there. Look, you're not feeding a huge amount of meal there, so is body condition an issue in your herd in springtime?
No.
Yeah, no, not an issue. No. So that's all right. Do you want to expand on that?
I'd have look, would probably, like, the silage would always be pretty good quality, and actually I find that the Montbéliardes, some of the ones now that would be calved, like I dry off before Christmas, so you'd have, look, majority to be like they're 82% calved in the first 6 weeks. But I find that the later calving cows, you'd probably have to feed a bit of haylage to put on too much condition. Yeah. So yeah.
Do you think that's related to the overall capacity and the intake capacity of the cows? Like,
I think it is, yeah. And I think I think they've done a lot of work in France with the feed conversion efficiency as well. And I think maybe some of that has been underrated. You know, when I know Danny there's touched on the ICBF, and I'd agree 100% with them. Like the cows, what they're producing compared to even some of their mixed sub index is like it's unbelievable. Like, you know, we're not, all we're looking for really is a fair a level playing field, you know, and I don't think we're getting that. So yeah.
Okay. And Kyle has noted here, the question came in, it's around there's a good few cows there between the autumn and the spring calvers. Are they easy to manage in the large scale system when it's only yourself and your dad on the farm and your mom? Did they take much attention, individual attention?
No, look, we don't run 2 batches or nothing. They're all in the 1 batch. And yeah, look, the autumn cows get the extra full of nuts in the winter to keep them right. But no, look, they're easy maintained, good temperament. We're happy enough. And like, Mom's still working, so it's only myself and my father Philip on the farm full time. And look, with technology, we bought a calf feed, we're trying to keep stuff, but we concentrate on the stock. We contract out slurry spreading and that in the spring. We solely look after the stock and keep everything else moving. And like I said, they don't get any special TLC or anything. Give them dry them off in enough time, and show what they get their 6 or 8 weeks dry cow off, and then they're back in a couple of weeks now prior to calving. They'll probably get a little bit on the milking diet, but no, they get no special treatment.
Yep, no problem. And then Michael, a question for you then in relation to or Kevin, in relation to the bull finishing. Maybe the question is just around is beef finishing with the Monties, you know, is it a profitable option for farmers who want to utilize outblocks, who perhaps are finished expansion or want to take the number of cows back? Is it a good option for farmers in your opinion?
We found it an option, all right, but finishing bulls are not for the faint heart. Like bulls can be difficult to handle, especially in a big group. And like we turn them out in the March, early April. Yeah. We leave them out till the end of July, and then just when they're beginning to get a bit rowdy in the fields, we tend to bring them to the sheds then, and we finish them. We give them a 100-day or 110-day finishing period in the shed, and we do it. And yeah, there's money in it. Is there a living in it? Probably not, if you compare it to dairying. But there is money in it, and we're happy enough to be at it. Like they're eating a ton of meal in the finishing period. There's no point in saying anything else. We start them on 3 or 4 kilos, and they're on maybe 11 kilos by the time they're finished. But like a good average of 10 kilos a day. So a ton or 1.1 ton goes into them at the finishing period. But like if you were to carry them for another 3-4 months or 5 months as steers, you'd have as much feed put into them that way. And in our system where we're watching nitrates, it's just not on for us. We wouldn't have either the sheds or the space in nitrates to carry them.
Just one thing I will say is, if you were to get into a bull beef system, you just have to have a plan in place as to what your aim is, to when you want them finished and when they're going to be housed and what they're going to be fed. It just has to be very structured to make the bull beef work, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We tried splitting up the bulls a couple of years ago and finishing them in batches, and we found that we were better off to finish the bigger batch together and sell them as a group to a factory, and we had more bargaining power when we had bigger numbers, and we found we got an extra few bob in the system that way.
Very good. That's great, and that's all the questions for now. So Ferreol, you could maybe take us through the sires coming into the 2023 catalogue. I suppose on our side with Coopex, there's an increased focus placed on the components of the Montbéliarde sires, as well as being extremely balanced, but with that extra focus on the breeding values for components. So you can, if you bring us through the rest of them, Ferreol, and there's lots of bulls available, sexed or conventional, so we're all here in stock.
Yeah, exactly. So just to do the quick presentation about the bulls, you will see on all the bull cards that there is some logo. So just to compare, to understand that easily. So you got the first logo for the outcross bloodline, which will be the bulls will be the quite easiest to use in the mating plan because they come with different bloodline. Then you got the grazing type, who are bulls who are fulfilling all the expectation for a grazing system, more medium size with lower stature, but good chest with good body dip as well to be a good grass converters into milk. Superb on locomotion, very high on the solids and strong on fertility as well. Then you got the cheese specialists, who are the bulls who are really high solids percentage with the BB carbocasein as well to increase the cheese yield, and also the bulls who have been also a big plus with the cheese proof, who's called Ferreol. Then we have the robotic milking groups, who are bulls who have been suitable for the milking speed, good structure as well with optimum teat placement, a super locomotion, and very quiet on temperament to make sure they'll be very suitable for robotic milking system. And then you got the A2A2 beta-casein bulls who are with producing A2A2 beta-casein milk, and the Sexed Semen logo for the bulls who will be all available in Sexed Semen as well. So we're gonna start the presentation with some of the new bulls who are available this year. Okay, one of the new bulls coming through is a bull called Nanok. He's a great proven bull. Okay, today he got 100 daughters in his proof, and he's a big fat specialist. Okay, that's a bull who is say plus 1.6 on protein and plus 6.2 on fat percentage. So he's really high on the solids, especially on the fat percentage. That's a bull who is plus 170 kgs of milk, and in total that will be plus 68 kgs of solids. That's a bull who is quite interesting because he will be transmitting in his progenies a very strong type, okay, with excellent quality in the feet and legs with 110, super quality also in the others, 117, and also a bull who will bring some very good square cows and with a good beef condition, a good beef value as well with 112. For all people who don't really know about the Montbéliarde, for all the trait, the type traits, 100 is average. When you go above 100, it means improver, and a 12 point would be the standard deviation. And just to finish about Nanok, Nanok is also a bull who is very interesting for the fitness line. Okay, all health traits have been very massively improver with a very plus 0.9 on fertility, plus 0.9 also on longevity. Is very quiet on temperament with 111. Is very good also on making speed, so that's a bull very suitable for robotic milking, and is very easy calving. Just to do a quick pre-selection about all the bulls with Dovea, like we are not bringing a lot of bulls into Ireland because there is no point to be selling say 10, 15, 20 different bulls in Ireland. The fact is that we've been super strict on the selection. So automatically all the bulls who have been selecting to come into the to Ireland are automatically very easy calving. So that means bulls will be suitable for crossbreeding and also suitable for using on heifers. The calving age score for the Montbéliarde will go from 48 to 95. 95 are the best bulls, the easiest one, okay? And all the bulls that we'll be picking will be 90 plus. Then we also have been very selective and strict on the temperament. So that means all bulls have to be very positive on temperament to have very quiet temperament score, very good also on making speed, and very positive also for both of the solids percentage. Then one of the other new bull coming through this year into Ireland is a bull called Montbéliarde. Okay, it's another great new proven bulls. Okay, with a very interesting pedigree because it's 100% outcross, so very easy to match in your bloodline. That's a bull who is already with say almost 400 daughters in his proof. Okay, and that's a bull who is very interesting for the solids. It's plus 3.9% on protein and plus 4.2% in fat percentage. That's a bull who will be transmitting a quite good milk volume as well, with plus 291 kgs of milk and plus 77 kgs of solids. Regarding the type, is really more grazing type design, okay, with 113. Very strong on the feet and legs, 112. Lovely quality in the others and good quality beef. Is among the best bull you will find also at the moment for temperament with 121. So that means very quiet in the progenies. Very good also for the milking speed. And if you look at the health rate, is good on the health, very good also on longevity, and same again, a very easy calving bulls. So this is another good option coming through that have been quite popular. Then one of the new genomic bulls coming through is a bull called Pavel. He's a neutrino son out of an ingenio out of Ferreol. So it's a genomic bull, but from a completely proven pedigree. So that means all the genomic bulls that have been working with for the export market are necessary bulls who have been from a deep cow pedigree, and a pedigree that will be also coming from a cow family that have been doing very, very well. That's a bull who will be transmitting a lot of solids and strength, okay? Is a +30 on protein percentage and +33 on fat percentage. Is also a big bull also for milk with plus 978 kgs of milk and plus 115 kgs of solids. So that's really a massive improver for solids percentage. Regarding the type, you will see on this cow picture, which is the dam of the bull, that she will bring a lot of strength into the type with 120. Is very good also for the body capacities with a lot of chest width, 121. Just average for stature, so we'll bring this cow slightly smaller on the legs, okay, but just average, but massive on the other quality with 122, with excellent quality in the 4 other attached, strong on the feet and legs, and also very good also for the beef value. That's a bull that had been a super option for all people who would like to crossbreeding, because that's a bull who will be a big improver for the chest width, which also bring a longer teeth length as well. And that's a bull who don't go massively on stature. So for all people who could like to work with a Montbéliarde bull for crossbreeding on the black and white, Pavel would be a great option. On all health threat, absolutely great. Everything is going right with low somatic cell count, a good calf fertility, and a good longevity as well. And just to have an idea, this dam, okay, the dam of Pavel in a second lactation, that the cow will have produced over 11,000 kgs of milk at 4.2 fat and 372 in protein. So this is really coming from a deep cow family where the production and the result you can get is really an equation with what you can get on the farm. So Pavel is really one of the best options I will advise this year to use for crossbreeding on some black and white. One of the other new bull coming through this year is a bull called Montbéliarde, who is from a completely new bloodline, a Naruto out of a Lone Star, out of Thurles, out of a Triumph, out of a Redon. So this is a very deep cow pedigree as well. The Redon, the 4th Grand Dam, that's a cow who won the Coopex show 12 years ago, okay? And she's been flushed with a Triumph bull, okay? And in total, she had 7 daughters by Triumph, who all have been taken pictures and been shown during the last presentation about, say, 7 years ago, also in the local show. So that's really coming from deep cow family. The picture here, down here, that's a Lone Star daughter, who is the dam of Montbéliarde. This is a bull that we decided to bring into Ireland as well, because this cow here, during her first lactation, she has been producing in 3 or 5 days almost 7,000 kgs of milk at 4.57 fat percentage and 4.07 protein. So this is a good example to show how the Montbéliarde are able to produce very high protein and fat percentage, because there is not a lot of cows, I think, that are producing over 4% protein. But this is the kind of example that we show in the Montbéliarde. This is something easy to get if you pick the right genetics. Montbéliarde is a bull who is, as in his pedigree, very solid specialist, with +27 on protein, +20 on fat percentage, +95 kgs of solid, and +917 kgs of milk. It will transmit a lot of strength into the type with 123, with a top score for feet and legs, very clean bones, super strong on the locomotion as well, and one of the best bull you will have available also for other qualities with 129. Whole health rate are also very improver, and the cow longevity, which is in this pedigree, is also showing in the proof of the Montbéliarde, because it's +1.5 on longevity as well. Is available sex-ed and conventional, which make also a good choice also for people who want to try sex-ed semen on cows or on heifers in the herd. It's very easy calving, so no problem to use it on cows and heifers. Then we're going to move to the bulls who have been already available in during the last campaign, and we decided to carry on just to show you an updated picture of their proof. So Ilan is a very highly proven bull with 1,300 daughters in his proof. He's really a big health and fitness specialist, okay? Compared to the new bull, you will noticing that we have been a lot a lot more pressure of selection on picking some very high fat and protein percentage now, compared to the bull that we have been using in the past, who are just about, say, just average or positive, but not massively positive. Ilan now with 1,350 daughters in his proof is plus 0.5 on protein, plus 0.9% of fat, 647 kgs of milk and 58 kgs of solids. Great type with good quality animals, good square cows, good locomotion, a top temperament score. This is why we decided to continue using, because it's a super option for crossbreeding as well, with a high fertility, great longevity as well, super easy calving, and top temperament score as well. It's still available conventional and sex ed. Then Neutrino is a bull have been used during a long time when it was genomics. And now we decided to continue because it's turned very well as most of the Montbéliarde bull in the genomics. It means say now is very well proven with 160 daughters in his proof, okay? And now with his first progeny in milk, he gained in milk with 764 kgs of milk. And also he has been improving a lot his solid percentage. It was planned to be plus 3.6, plus 3.9 on protein and fat percentage. And now with his first daughter in milk, it's plus 4.6 on protein and plus 4.8% on fat. This is really among the top bulls you will find in the breed for fat and protein percentage. That means this bull will transmit plus 124 kgs of solids in a progenies. In terms of type, is very well balanced, very suitable for grazing, with a lot of strength and or medium size for grazing. Super quality on the feet and legs, excellent quality on the rear attach as well, as you can see on this daughter progenies, and still giving also a super quality in the calf, which a super good quality beef value, 110. It's very easy calving, good also for longevity, good on temperament, and that's a bull who will be available conventional and sex ed. Then among the bulls who have been using and very popular last year, Marvin was another option for all people who were more grazing and more like Jersey crosses or New Zealand crosses animals, okay? Because this is a bull who brings some very smaller, tiny animals. This is a big thing also with the Montbéliarde. You have a huge variation between all the different type of animals you could find in the breed. You will have some very big one and you have some very smaller one. So it's really up to the bull that you will find the type of animals that you'll be looking for. Marvin is an absolutely perfect bull for grazing system with a very low stature bulls, but strong feet and legs, very good quality also on the others. It's perfect for crossbreeding because it's very easy calving, great temperament, very quiet, super longevity, plus 1.2, great also for fertility with plus 1.5. And in terms of protein and fat percentage, is plus 3.2 on protein, plus 4.2 on percentage of fat. And he's a kind of bull who is also well proven with over 210 daughters in his proof. So that's a kind of great option also that for people who want to reduce the milk volume, but increase the fat percentage and go down on size, that's a kind of good example. Then NYX is one of the bulls have been used very well and very popular over the last year as well. It just started to get proven. He has only 16 daughters in his proof at the moment, and he's still increasing also his milk and his percentage as well. Very highly positive as well. In terms of type, he brings a lot of strength and powerful cows with 118 in type, good strong bodies, very strong also on the beef, super quality on the feet and legs, and good functional udders as well. Longevity and fertility is very good as well. And that's a bull very suitable for robotic milking with a very fast milking speed and very quiet temperament as well. Then a bull who have been shown last year is Noeska, who is coming for a completely outcross pedigree, which was very handy to use in a breeding program. And then if you look also about, say, how he was looking on the solids, is plus 1.5 on protein, plus 5.5 on fat percentage, with a very good milk volume as well. In terms of type, is absolutely fine with good bodies, very good strong feet and legs, and excellent quality in the others. It will transmit some very long-lasting animals with a good udder health and also very good on making speed and very quiet in its progenies as well with 135. So it's been a bull very popular that we decided to carry on working because he was doing a fantastic job. Then Autolib was a bull have been among the most popular last year in many countries where grazing is a very important trait, like in Chile or also in New Zealand. The fact is that is really a kind of bull that lifts a lot the percentage with plus 1.9 on protein, plus 6.9 on the fat percentage. Very good also for the milk. We see a lot of milk solids improver, plus 76 kgs of solids. And in type is perfect with super strong feet and legs, excellent quality in the dirt, small in stature, but you still have these square cows and who are able to produce some good beef quality as well. It's very quiet, good milking speed, top on fertility, top on longevity, excellent also for very low somatic cells count. So that's the kind of bull that's doing a fantastic job that we say we need to carry on as well. And then you will have Punto, who is the #1 bull in ISU that will be available in Dovea catalog this year. He's a bull who is +2.1 on protein, +4.9 in fat percentage. It will live with +109 kgs of solid with a lot of milk as well. It will transmit a very strong type with super strong, especially on the quality on the feet and legs, among the best one you will find in breed. Excellent quality in the udder structure with very good forudder attach and very good rear udder attach as well. And in terms of health rate, is one of the leader bull you will find in the catalog this year with almost say +1 and standard deviation above the average, and also +2 in longevity. He's very quiet on temperament, very easy calving as well, and that's a bull who will be available sexed and conventional as well. So this is why we have been decided to carry on with this one this year. For people who have been worried or wanted to use some of the older bulls, no worries, they are still available most of the time. Okay, you can still ask directly your local Dovea sales reps to ask about it. Okay, because they are still available in the Dovea catalog. In the Dovea lab, but they may be no more in the Dovea main catalogs. No problem for that. And just to remind you how to select a bull for the Montbéliarde. To avoid any bad experience and to keep our customer satisfying, Dovea and Coopex have been very, very strict on the way to selecting the Montbéliarde bulls. It means automatically the bulls have to be very positive on temperament, so well over 100 points. They have to be very easy calving, so well over 90 points. They will have to be all very good on health threat. They have to transmit a lot of strength into the cows, because this is mainly why the Montbéliarde is using when it's been using in purebred, but also for crossbreeding. So chest width and beef value are very important. Okay, and then up to your milk contract, people will be more focusing on how to lift on percentage or on milk volume, and also up to the genetic base. That means if the herd is more Holstein or Frisian or some other breeds, you will have to be very careful about some very tight criteria like stature, chest width, teeth length, rump angle, quality on the feet and leg, or quality on the udders as well. So this is very important to make sure everything will be doing very well. And finally, just to remind that crossbreeding is not a miracle solution, okay, but it is just a key to get some more efficient animal up to your system. What is very important for me is that when I go on a farm, I keep having my customers satisfied and the breeders happy about the progeny they will get on the farm. What is very important is that when you know what you're looking for, you have to keep this goal strategy and to stick with this goal strategy for a long time, because the decision you will take today will be in your farm in about, say, 3 years' time. So this is important that if now you will be focusing on solid, you continue to work on solids percentage or on fertility for a long time. And the other thing is that, say, you have to be very careful also about, say, all the reputation and all the ideas or the cliche that you may will have about the Montbéliarde, about any other breeds. Because if tomorrow people will be using the Montbéliarde, okay, and they have a good quality animals, that's absolutely fine. But if tomorrow they will be using a Montbéliarde and they don't have a good solution, a good result, the experience will be Montbéliarde breed is not good. But on the contrary, if tomorrow a farmer will be using an Angus bull, for example, and this Angus bull is giving some very big calf on the ground, their conclusion will be the Angus bull is not good. But it will mean that maybe they will continue to use an Angus, okay? So it's very important to make sure that people, when you have a bad experience, it's important to be blaming the bull used, not the breed. Because this is really how people have been ended up sometime in the past about having a bad reputation about the Montbéliarde breed, because they just have been, say, just all the time have been using some bulls who have been very negative on temperament, for example. And this is what happened in the past in Ireland. When I started working in Ireland, I saw that some of the bulls have been importing were sired by Micmac, by Oxaline, by bulls who have been very badly scored on temperament. They were 77 or 80 plus. But the fact is that, say, like they've been using bulls who were very bad on temperament, their conclusion was automatically that the Montbéliarde were kickers, the Montbéliarde were very heavy, the Montbéliarde were not able to get milk. But on the contrary, if they will have used a bull who were super good on temperament, their conclusion won't be the same. So this is very important to be very careful about their conclusion when you do any experience, because up to this, the reputation of the breed won't be the same. So if you have any question, feel free to ask me or to contact me, and I will be free to come on your farm later in the year, or if you have any question, no problem. I will be available, and Dovea reps will be also available to answer to them. And thanks very much for your attention.
Thank you, Ferreol. Yeah, so just to be clear, about once or twice a year you come to Ireland and we create a tour. So if anybody wants Ferreol to take a look at their herd, even if it's a black and white herd, you can come and recommend the best bulls and individually give recommendations to each cow. So that's the service that's available to all our customers. So Ferreol, thanks for that presentation. Some really good points that were conveyed very well. So we've got 3 questions coming from the audience, so thanks for that. The first one relates to a base cow, or let's assume the genetic ability to produce 3.5% protein and 3.95% fat components. If they use some of the high protein sires, what increase or what milk can they expect from the future offspring with that, with the genetic ability that was mentioned?
If you look for the best, say, Montbéliarde bull in protein, you'll be easily able to reach, say, 3.7, 3.8 in protein without any problem.
Super. Well, yeah, I think that's the answer that we're looking for. So if the ability is around that 3.5, we can assume to add on the increase in the breeding value or the PTA in the Mont.
No, exactly. I mean, for example, if you look about, say, a bull like Neutrino, okay, that's a bull who have got, say, in daughter average about, say, 4.47 protein fat and, say, 3.76 protein average, okay. And that's only, say, with the early lactation result that we have at the moment. So if you get, say, more and more careful about, say, the protein and the fat percentage, no problem at all to reach, say, the very high ones who make that milk price will be very, very important.
That's great. Thanks. The next question relates to the calf and ease figure. You mentioned that what is the average for the specific trait calf and ease, and does that need to be a different value if you're using the Montbéliarde onto black and white animals compared to Montbéliarde animals?
Yeah, the purebred average, okay, will be for Calvin score will be 87. Okay, the fact is that, say, when you go with when you will be crossbreeding, you will have the hybrid vigor who make that the bulls will be the calf will be slightly bigger and stronger. Okay, so just to make to avoid any trouble, because everybody is looking for just easy management, we always pick a bull who will be at least 90 plus. Okay, and this is why, for example, for the Irish selection, and like we do also the same way for all the export selection, and also people in France are doing the same now. They always pick a bull 95 and plus to make sure they will be all absolutely fine. Just one last point about all the genomic bulls that have been launched also in Ireland. That's bulls who have been with already progeny born in France. So for all Calvin score, they all have been accurate and reliable and proven that, say, in France, they've been also easy calvings.
Thank you. Last question, Ferreol. In a situation, a farmer who has a black and white herd now wants to experiment and use some Montbéliarde semen, what bulls should they target with the Montbéliarde semen, in your opinion?
For me, at the moment, it will be depend about if they will be looking to lift also the milk production or not the milk production. After this week, I've been traveling all around. There is some farmers who are still chasing the milk volume, okay, because they are not reaching enough milk volume up to their own opinion in their own system. So I would say if people will be looking to focus on milk plus the solids percentage, I think a bull like Pavel or Neutrino will do a fantastic job, okay. And then if people will be looking to be more careful about, say, lifting very higher the solids percentage, but don't go too high on the milk volume, a bull like Nanook or Autolib or even Marvin would be the best option.
Thank you. Well, for everyone, I think that finishes up our webinar this evening on the Montbéliardes. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us. It was a really good presentation of the breed and a nice insight to the breed. I think there's a lot of benefits in terms of the balanced animal that the Montbéliarde brings through the bull selection, and also the benefits that are there for longevity, extra lactations, along with the value of cattle and cows. So for all the farmers that joined us this evening, I'd like to thank you very much. We have some more videos to come online over the next couple of weeks. Ferreol from Coopex for joining us, and this will be available online. So thank you, everyone, and wish you all the best during your calving periods. Next week there'll be a final dual purpose seminar, so stay tuned and on our social medias to get the link on Zoom. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Here, and all the best going forward.